that he took a metal yo-yo and was like swinging it around.
Oh,
and
jeez.
tried to hit him with it, but instead of hitting him, he let it go, and we had just got a brand new like 70-inch flat screen TV.
No.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to this week's episode of the NXTGEN Podcast. We're glad you're here. We're glad you decided to tune in. Today, it's actually just me, Kobe, and Jenna.
Yep.
Zach is not here this week, so it's just the three of us. But I think we wanted to start off today's podcast with a pretty a hot topic, or a very debatable topic.
Adidas or Nike? And we're talking like footwear. Like, would you rather wear
Puma.
a pair of Nike? I want the Pumas. Give me the Filas.
I like Yeezys from Adidas. The rest of
Yeah.
their shoes I don't like.
Not NMDs?
That's true. I do
Yeah.
like NMDs as well. So
the human
Yeezys
race.
and NMDs I like.
Yeah. What about Ultra Boosts?
I'm not a big fan of Ultra
Really?
Boosts. No.
They're really comfy.
They're too sporty looking for me.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They look like trainers, and I'm like,
Yeah, no, I get that.
with Adidas, those are the shoes that I like. Do I like any Adidas clothes? No.
I don't either.
I'm not a big
I'm
fan.
not a fan.
So I guess leaving it to sneakers, I would be more of an Adidas guy because I own more.
For me, I'm definitely going Nike.
They have a better lineup.
They've
I
got a
will
better
say.
lineup. It's true. But like, we're going into like which shoe is more comfortable?
Adidas all day.
Adidas all the way.
Yeah.
Because you got Yeezys and NMDs and Ultra Boosts. For me, those top the comfortability level on any Nike shoe.
Like I have one pair of Adidas shoes and I've had one pair
Nice.
of Nike shoes.
And
So which one do you like better?
I think for looks, Adidas, I like the way that they
Wow.
style their stuff a lot more than Nike does.
Really?
For
Wow.
the women's side, I guess
Okay,
Nike does a
okay,
really
okay.
good job on the men's side, like reducing colors and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
on the women's side, I feel like it's very bland.
all right, we're gonna
Yeah.
go on to the next topic here.
Childhood stories. So pretty much,
Yeah.
as children, we all do stupid things. We
Yeah.
all
Very.
we all
we
have-
all have these stories.
we
and
go to our
memories.
siblings and we're like, look, this is gonna be the best idea, and then it's like not the best idea at
Yeah,
all.
not at all.
Yeah, so my siblings and I, we used to all share a bathroom.
Oh wow.
Nice.
And we would
How
get-
many siblings to preface this?
Well, during the story, there's only 5 of us, but now
That's
there's
still a
10
lot.
of us.
Oh,
yeah, I guess. So whenever we'd have to go brush our teeth, we would always have like the Crest Mint toothpaste or whatever
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So I think it was my brother. He's like, I saw this on a movie. We should all try it. So then we took toothpaste and we had a competition of putting it in our eye to see who would last the longest.
What?
Oh my god.
Not rinse it out. So then
Gosh.
my older brother and I won, and we did it like 4 times, and then we're like, oh, our eyes are starting
Yeah, that would hurt after a
They
bit.
hurt, yeah. And then
Oh,
our parents
man.
found out. They're like, what are you guys doing? You could make yourselves blind. But we did it.
Jeez.
And then there's another time we were raking leaves. It was me, my older brother, and my older sister. And it was like stinking hot outside.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, let's
That
have a
sucks.
competition to see who can go the longest without drinking water.
They're just trying to kill each other.
yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Let's get heat stroke together.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, bet, let's do it. So then we started going, and my sister takes a drink of water. We're like, you're out. And then my brother takes a drink of water. We're like, you're out. And then I just keep on going and going and
Yikes.
going. And then I pass out.
Oh.
That
Yeah,
sucks.
that's not surprising. It I don't think it takes too like if it's a really hot day
Yeah.
and you
Oh,
aren't
it's
drinking any water,
brutal.
you're done.
It's
Yeah.
You're
over.
done.
Yeah, that was the
Okay.
last
Dang.
time I dehydrated myself.
This is when I was young as well. I liked to think that I was independent. So whenever we were out and about, if my mom or like I was out with my grandparents or something, they'd be like, "Here, like Colby, hold my hand, something so you don't get lost." I'm like, "Nah, I'm good.
I got this.
I got this." But I was also, like I said before, a very curious guy. So I'm always looking around, looking at stuff. And I remember we were at, me and my brothers, we were at a little fair, like with my grandparents.
Yeah.
And my grandma was like, "Okay, Colby, hold my hand. Like, there's a lot of people around." I'm like, "Grandma, I'm good. Don't worry about it.
Don't touch me.
Don't, like, leave me alone. Let me just walk." And well, eventually, I'm looking to the right here, and my grandparents are on my left, and I'm just looking at everything around me. Then I finally look to my left, and I'm like, "Where's my grandparents? They aren't there."
Oh no.
That like obviously I was going like too slow or something because they
Yeah.
walked ahead, And I guess they didn't notice for a little bit. So I finally just stopped in my tracks. I'm like, I'm a little kid. So I started bawling my eyes out. I'm like, where's my grandparents? And then some lady like with her own family sees me and she's like, oh, are you lost, little guy? And I'm just crying. And then eventually my grandparents came back and found me, and then it was all okay
for trying to be independent.
Yeah, cool. And then that wasn't the last time. So I didn't learn my lesson.
I remember this one time. My brothers' names are Tristan and Cody. Tristan's like he's the one that's 4 years younger than me, and then Cody is 7 years younger than me, and they were like friends, but they also really hated each other at times. And one time,
as brothers do, right?
Exactly, yeah. And one time, Tristan was just getting on Cody's nerves, and as a child, we would all agree that he was the one that would just annoy the crap out of you because he thought it was fun. And Cody was like so upset that he took a metal yo-yo and was like swinging it around.
Oh,
and tried to hit him with it, but instead of hitting him, he let it go, and we had just got a brand new like 70-inch flat screen TV.
No.
And it smashed the TV.
Oh,
yeah.
Dude, he would have been in trouble for that one.
It was bad, yeah.
Oh.
I think he was like probably 6, so he was young, but like, yeah. And then he got in big trouble, but actually insurance ended up covering it. So it was actually quite impressive. Yeah. Off of your eye story, me and my brothers one time, we were playing Nerf, like having a Nerf battle, but we were in the basement anyways, and we were like playing with Nerf guns or whatever. And we're having this Nerf battle, and all of a sudden my brother like turns the corner without even looking and shoots the gun, and it like hit me directly in the eye.
Oh.
And instantly my eye like started to like fill with blood. So like the inner circle of my eye, retina, I believe it's called, or cornea,
so. Something like that.
The not colored part, the black part.
Yeah.
Started to like fill with blood. So it was like bad. So then I had to like go to the emergency room, and eventually I couldn't like see out of it, and it was just like so crazy. Yeah. And I ended up like not being able to see for a good like month.
Wow.
And then
isn't that one eye there?
Yeah, and I had to go to like an eye specialist, and
dang.
And yeah, now it's better and now it's fixed, but during that time I was quite stressed.
Yeah, no, I bet.
As a child, it was like,
you're gonna go blind or something.
Well, yeah, I was 13, I think, or 14. I was in grade 7, so like, yeah, and that was pretty stressful. Which I think we kind of wanted to get into stress today and talk about our journeys with dealing with stress and the proper ways to go about it.
Well, I know for me, this has just been in like the past few years of my life. Something that like really would stress me out is finances and car problems.
Right.
I've had a lot of trouble with my cars.
If you ever ask Kobe, he is the guy that I would say has the worst luck with cars I've ever heard.
I can spit a whole sermon out for you guys about this, okay? That's all I'm saying. Come, if you ever want to know, come and talk to me. But with my car, it's like, it gave me a lot of problems before. Like I've gone through a few different cars now. And
a few.
Yeah. And I guess that's one thing that always got to me is like there's all these problems happening with my cars. It's so much money getting drained out of my bank account because it's so stressful. I'm like, how am I supposed to be able to afford this? How can I handle this? Like, what am I like? And for a while, this really got to me, and like it would really, really affect my personal life and like my relationships around me because I was always just so stressed out about it. I'd also like end up taking that out on other people. Like usually the person who would get the most like blunt end of it would be my mom. You know, like and there was one day where it was like just extra bad. And I realized afterwards that because I gave my mom some heck that morning. I'll say that. Yeah. And I had been doing my devotions later on, and I had seen something in that devotion that was just talking about stress itself. And it kind of got me to clear my mind. And I was like, okay, I need to go apologize to my mom for being rude to her this morning. Yeah. But it also really just made me come to the clear mindset that stress is really just something that we don't really have to deal with, right? Because we've got a loving God that really just wants the best for us. And if we're focusing on that and always remembering that and remembering the promises that he has for us and all the good things that he wants us to have in our lives, then when these small little upsets come out into our lives, like having to handle some car situations for example, for me, well, I don't have to let myself get so deep into stressing about it, because I know in the end, this is just one minor setback that won't affect me for the rest of my life. Right. I know that there's a God like that loves me so much that this will be just a little minuscule thing that's happening in my life right now. Right? Yeah. And it's like, I'll deal with it now and I won't even think about it, maybe even a week down the road.
There's so many situations in our life where we put stress first because we think that putting our stress first will help us figure out our problems, which in certain scenarios, figuring out your problem does need to happen. And you do need to logically sit down and be like, how am I going to do this? Yep. But when something's out of your control and you don't have the answers and you've thought about it and you're just like, you know what, I don't know where I'm at with this, that's where you need to leave it in God's hands. Because you can always trust God with your problems, but if you never do that, you're just going to go on living your whole life never getting an answer from God because you're never leaving it with him, leaving you stressed out 24/7. And it's not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kind of like the chapel that we were just doing about fear, but this is in the same way, because if you allow yourself to be so filled with stress, then you have no room for God's peace to actually fill inside of you. So many times we're just like, oh, I'm so stressful and I just need Jesus, and why aren't you here, God? But then we have no room to actually receive what we're praying for. And I find that when I'm stressed, I really need to just calm down and take some time, because I tend to just fill myself up with stuff and be like, if I'm stressed, I just need to do this and this and this and find something to do to take my mind off of stress. But I don't use God to take my mind off of stress. I use other things, and that does not work at all. It just adds more and more stress to it.
Oftentimes, too, being people, we always look for, when you're not looking for God, you're looking for a physical way to suppress that stress.
Mm-hmm.
And whether it's making yourself busy nonstop so that you don't have to think about it, or maybe it's drinking, or maybe it's smoking, or maybe it's name it. We try and find things to fill that place so that we don't have to feel stressed.
Right.
And if you would just realize that, you don't have to have any of those things. And when stress comes into your life, God's given us the answer, and God has the answer for you. But if you aren't willing to bring it to him, and you're not willing to just be at peace for a few days while the situation gets figured out and where God gets you his answer, it's like, well, you're going to be stressed, and you're going to need to look for a way to deal with it that's not God. And
it's never going to work out if you just try and suppress it, right?
It's like having a problem and just like not thinking it's there. If you spend time with God when you're not in the storm, when you are in the storm, it's going to seem effortless because you've been spending time with God that whole time before. You have to know what the word says to be able to live it out. Right?
Exactly.
So.
And like even in the Bible, it says, I will give you peace that surpasses all understanding. And if you understood it, then it wouldn't be peace that surpasses understanding.
Very true. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode. We hope that we can help you out with some of the stresses in your life and hopefully make them not as much stresses. New podcast comes out every single Monday, so stay tuned for those. You can find them on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube for our shortened video version. Besides that, check us out on Instagram at SpringsYouthWPG, and we will see you guys next week. Peace out, everybody.